On our boat, Marco, we have a wooden cooking spoon. It's a very special spoon. It carries a story about finding the good things in life during tough times.
Everything I knew about who I was and whatever, I was just losing grip of it. I couldn't handle my work, couldn't handle my family. I was moving towards something which was scaring me. I didn't know what it was, but I know it was coming.
This is a story about our wooden spoon. After years of preparation, we have left behind the safety of our jobs, apartments, social security and solid ground, and embarked on a 3-year sailing trip around the world in search of the good life.
Hello and good morning.
We want to meet people, visit places, and explore the science behind what a good life is and what we can do ourselves to have a good life. All this at the comfortable speed of 10 kilometers an hour. Please join us as we explore life. Before we left Denmark to go sailing, we went to Malmö in Sweden to visit an old colleague of mine who has pieces of wood in his freezer.
Frozen strawberries and the occasional wooden spoon. So I just can't pick it up.
What?
So
It is frozen.
It's
About 5 years ago, Kim went through some really tough times.
I was in a place in my life where I was the father of 2, commuting a long way to Denmark, and just got assigned as a project leader to a big project which was new for me. Quite early on in that process, I started to feel that I was very stressed because I didn't know what to do and so on.
From there on, it got worse and worse, and ended up in a type of stress-induced breakdown.
I had a horrible time, and it was hard on my family as well. And then I slowly, after the worst breakdown, tried to build myself up again. Stress can induce a lot of weird stuff in your life and a lot of symptoms.
But in the middle of it all, something good happened. Kim was given a fishing knife by a neighbor. He immediately went fishing, but on his way to the ocean, he found a piece of wood and started carving away with his new knife.
I carved and I just forgot about the fishing. And I sat there for, I don't know, an hour and a half, and just carved and made a spreader.
Yeah. You have
And
it still?
I have it. You want me to get it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please.
From that moment, he became one of them, a wood carver.
It has this kind of air to it that it's only old people that do these kind of things, right? Old, grumpy men, typically. They usually get shocked when I say, so, no, I'm carving stuff. You do what? Why?
Well, that is about the reaction Storm and I had when we first heard about Kim's wood carving. But then, Kim told us what carving wood is all about and what it has done for him.
So step 1 is I need to get out in nature, which I love, to find the wood. Something that is, for example, wind-fallen, or something that has been pruned and anyway will go to waste. On many occasions I've been biking somewhere and met an arborist and said, hey, what is it you're cutting down? Oh, it's apple tree. Oh, can I have a piece? Sure, take as much as you want. And you can maybe bribe them, say you get a spoon, or can I buy you a coffee, or.
This love for nature is something that Storm and I can really relate to in our new life on the ocean. It's calming, even for Storm's head, and that says quite a lot. The positive effect that nature has on us can in fact be backed by science.
Well, nature is this fountain of positive emotion experiences. Studies show that being around water, being around trees, these are things that tend to elevate people's positive emotions.
In addition to experiencing nature, wood carving also requires creativity.
Step 2 is the whole meditative creation aspect of, creating whatever it is I'm carving. Absorption, I think, is the first word that comes to mind. I focus, and in that focus I lose track of time and issues and problems, and I get a lot of feedback from what I'm doing. I think, it's a feeling of the knife going through, it's the sound, it's the smell of the wood, a lot of these kind of things. That's the feeling of carving. It's meditative.
With an old boat like ours, using our hands is a bit of a must. And we love it, most of the time. There is something very satisfying in working and creating things with your hands.
Typically, when we move physically, it improves our enjoyment, it improves our well-being in the situation because we're made to move. So whenever we do something with our hands, this has an effect on the inside also. You know, you want to be active. It's impossible to have a good time when you're passive. Throughout millions of years, everything that we have learned has typically implied some activity with the hand, which we tend to forget in modern education, where so much is academic and abstract. We forget that the reason we learn this is actually because we have an expectation to use it. And to use something, one way or the other, implies using your hands. So it's a great satisfaction to use your hands almost all the time.
And the benefits of wood carving continue, even after the spoon has been carved.
And then step 3 is reaching out to someone, maybe giving a spoon to a friend or swapping a spoon across the world with someone else. First and foremost, it's a functional object that is made to be used, and knowing that it gets used, or someone is using what I've made to cook for their family or friends, or it feels like what I made lives on for many years. It's a very good feeling.
You're actually tapping into the core drive of what created culture over the last 10,000 years. Whenever people created something, you know, they contributed to what we call culture today, and it's in our genes to make a difference. It's in our genes to be influential, if not dominate, at least make a good contribution and be valuable to our surroundings. And whenever you create something, you have this almost ecstatic experience of contributing to the greater whole.
Finally, there is this special community feeling.
People that carve, they are from all countries, all social classes, all ages. People are positive, people are nice, people are helpful. I've yet to meet a really arrogant spoon carver. I haven't yet, but I'm sure they are out there, but I haven't met them yet.
Well, I think it would be perfectly okay if wood carvers were arrogant, since carving a good wooden spoon is not easy at all. Storm and I most definitely have some way to go before anyone would accept a wooden spoon as an actual gift. Now, the best thing about it all is the impact that wood carving has on Kim's life. It is giving him a vent, a place to rest, and many other good things.
So I think for people with my background, it's really important to take breaks. And I was never good at that before. And now I know that if I feel a bit stressed and I carve for 15-20 minutes on a project I have, then I come back to work or family life again with some, new energy.
Another thing we really like about Kim's wood carving is that he has made a really nice spoon for us and Marco.
For the boat?
3 spoons actually. And they will travel with us around the world and remind us how nature can elevate our positive emotions, how using our hands can be very satisfying, and how creating even small things can give us a feeling of contribution. Now, before we say goodbye to wonderful Sweden, as an off-camera note, it's not always easy to be the wife of a spoon carver. Pieces of wood in your freezer and wood shavings in your bed.
Sometimes Malin finds some shavings in our bed, because I had it in my hair. So that's the life.
So, yeah.
That's what you get when you live with a spoon carver.